the next session. So next we have Dr. Sriram Birudavolu. He's got more than 25 years of experience in the IT industry and specialized in the international business, telecom industry, ID innovation, and has worked with multinational organizations like HP and Oracle. He's currently the CEO of Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, COE, established by Telangana government and Data Security Council of India, and backed up by NASSCOM, will be incubating startups both from within India and overseas to drive innovations and capability building in cybersecurity and privacy. Today, he's going to speak about cybersecurity landscape in India, which is going to be very interesting for us. Over to you, Dr. Sriram Birudavolu.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the generous introduction. Thanks, Suma. Thanks, Venkatesh, and also Ganeshan for inviting me to this excellent forum. ISACA is very prestigious, and it's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure and an honor to be here. So I'll take a few minutes, basically saying, explaining what the whole thing is about and why, what are the areas that we need to be gung-ho about, and what are the areas that where we need to work on. Okay, and then based on that, we'll go about exploring all the areas of cybersecurity and all. So I'll just share my presentation. Just give me a moment. Can you all see my screen?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, sir.
Yeah, just give me a moment.
Yes, we're able to see it now.
Yes. So a little bit about ourselves. So we are the Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, which is a joint initiative between DSCI, Data Security Council of India, and the government of Telangana, primarily because we happen to be in Hyderabad, no other reason. Okay, and they also want to invest in it and do it, which could need support of the local government. Okay, but the DSCI, as all of you know, is the cybersecurity arm of NASA, IT industry body. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, it suddenly said muted by the host. Okay, so with that in mind, first a few statistics that India is expected to become a $5 trillion economy by 2025. Okay, it is among the top 3 fastest growing economies in the world, and it has an ambitious vision to build a $5 trillion economy by 2025. And of course, going to be a non-linear growth. Many sectors, agriculture, manufacturing, and 12 service sectors. And India's digitalization roadmap can create a $1 trillion economy by 2025, and 20% of India's GDP accelerate and to accelerate GDP growth by up to 1%. So that is the power of the digitalization. If you take all the things, and it is not restricted to the high-end professionals and all that, it is, of course, if you take this Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, eSeva, MeSeva, all of these things, it is the bottom of the pyramid. Also, many of the startups seek to address the problems in various sectors, whether it is agriculture, health tech, and all that, fintech and all. So that is very inclusive growth. So India's growth story will embed inclusion as a key priority, and digitalization will enable access and affordability. Why do we say this? See, if you take your own lifestyle right now, you see that we are online, we are able to connect, though we are in different geographies. You start your day, probably you book an Uber, in your, you would probably order a Swiggy, you would go online, Paytm, and pay your stuff, okay, or any other platform. And you would have, you would do Coursera courses, you would do entertainment, you would watch on some Amazon Prime or Netflix, and you would have Flipkart to order things on. So as you see, our society, economy, and individual lifestyles are moving towards digitalization. So that itself is a powerful indicator of how things are moving, and rightfully so. So absolute, of course, this whole future of work is accelerated by the people who want to do more than simply a 9 to 5 job, and they want to do entrepreneurship. And that is accelerating this entire growth story of the digital growth story, where people can be freelancers, people can be consultants, people can be startups, and that's it. Also underscores the growth of the startups, which I'll come to in a little bit. India's IT BPM, world's #1 preferred offshoring destination. So if you see global, 1.5 trillion, India, 191 billion, domestic, these are all NASSCOM figures. So top sectors are IT services and e-commerce, so which you can read and see for yourself that is we are in a tremendously high growth phase now, which is only going to get accelerated as we are fast moving towards automation, digitalization are the key driving forces, and of course AI and such. So the growth in ITES exports has been 8%. Okay, 8.09% last year's figures. Okay, but I'll come to another one or two things which will show us that it is much more than this. I mean, the story is much more than this. So growth in employment, 8.09%, and 43 lakh professionals, 43 plus 43.6 or something lakh professionals are employed in this sector. Okay. And here I'm just going to go, I prepared something specific to this one. So IT BPM, world's #1 offshoring destination. If you look at it, you would see that here is the breakup. There are so many of GCCs here, so many of Indian companies growing, so many of, you would see that startups which are coming up. And this really highlights that we are on we have a story which is unparalleled in the world. So to just give you an example, in US last October, the growth rate of smartphones flattened off. That means no more, it's dead. The growth is dead, over. Okay. The only country that is showing it, China is growing, of course, but the one that is showing a double-digit growth, is India. Okay. So that shows that there are both growing markets and untapped markets in India. So that is the reason why it is attracting a lot of FDI investment. If you look at this, $50 billion it attracted last year. Capital came into India. Okay. And this year alone, if you look at the equity capital, which came in 2020, I'm talking, despite this slowdown, about $31 billion came. So this shows that people are bullish about India, and we should also be so. And we have the opportunity to capture a good portion of the $250 billion market which is out there in cybersecurity. So since the time this COVID lockdown happened, the cyber attacks have grown 600%. And because of which this has become all the more important. You have BYOD, the boundaries of the organization are unknown now. That means practically the perimeters of the organization extend everywhere. It is work from anywhere practically. And you can work from home, you can work from a restaurant, you can work from the office, and you can be on the field collecting data or doing something else. So it shows that your perimeters of the organization, as well as the workflow, workplace, and the workforce, all the three are changing. So India's readiness for global cybersecurity demand, you look at this, you have 1,250 MNCs which have GCCs in India, and about 28 billion market size of GCCs. The interesting thing when we looked at these GCCs closely is that, specifically in cybersecurity, is that they were doing high-end work. They were not some back-end shop. Many of the leaders of these GCCs are represented in the global board, in the global executive leadership, and the work being done is quite high-end. There is the entire spectrum. So they're investing more in India for high-end jobs. Talent is the #1 reason. It is not cost. We are very happy to know that. So 80% of cybersecurity product companies are cloud ready, which is good. They can deploy services anywhere. And there's a shift to a fusion model from the traditional SOC model. And partnering and co-innovation have increased. The other driving force is the regulatory factors. If you've noticed in 15th August speech by Prime Minister Modi, it is saying that he's laid emphasis. He said that India is going to have a new cybersecurity policy. Okay. And of course, the privacy laws are also around the corner and have been tabled in Parliament. So with these driving forces, you expect to see a lot of momentum. India will be seen as a safe, secure place, as well as have the opportunity to provide services to the worldwide global markets. So there are two goals here. One is we become secure and strong, okay, because with IoT and all, even our infrastructure we hacked. The other one is that we capture the share of the pie of the global market. Both of these are important. And smaller countries can do it, we can certainly do it. So even if we captured a portion of it, it's a $35 billion global market for cybersecurity products and 1,000 cybersecurity product companies to come up. Currently, we have about between 175 to 200 cybersecurity product companies here in India, okay, which are indigenous, I mean homegrown companies. And the yearly growth rate is scorchingly high. And there are many, 8 out of 15 global companies are having their product development and R&D centers in India, primarily because of the engineering talent pool availability. Okay, so in FY18, it was $450 million, the startups which are there, okay, cybersecurity companies, which did the business, product companies, and 60% year-on-year growth for the new age startups which are there. So India does have the potential. It has one of the largest cybersecurity talent pool worldwide. Okay, and of course there is the gender thing, in which gender, it's a great opportunity for gender equality to come, and in a very high growth area, which is why we are running something called the Cyber Siksha program, in which is CSR funded by Microsoft, in which we have many women engineers coming from low income background, training them for 4 months and then placing them in the industry. If you're interested in, please let me know. Okay, in hiring many of these. So automotive security, chip security, global security operations, security engineering, product security, these are some of the ones good growth areas. So as I had mentioned, the top companies, you'll be able to recognize many of them. Okay, those of you who are in the cybersecurity industries, this is just to underscore the importance of how much the global companies are attaching to India. Okay, slightly dated figures, but India is among the top 2 countries globally on many dimensions of digital adoption. And as you can see, that has a close relationship with cybersecurity markets itself and our cybersecurity growth story. So these figures are a little dated, but in July, during this lockdown period, UPI really broke all records. There were about 1.5 billion transactions, 1.49 or something, 1.5 billion transactions in July alone, amounting to about 3 lakh crores of transactions, which is phenomenally high. Okay, and that breaks all records, and really kudos to the platform, the UPI platform and all the related ecosystem. So we see that with this triangle, or this trifecta of Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, mobile, it is possible to build a very tremendously high, very big growth story. And then you have the India stack and India's healthcare stack, which is coming up, health stack. Okay. So I'll just shift the focus a little bit to cybersecurity services companies and to the cybersecurity product companies. So we see consulting and advisory, managed security services, design and implementation, security testing and audit. These have been the forte of the cybersecurity services companies. And the cybersecurity product company typically has network security, identity and access management, data security, application security, endpoint security, and security analytics, GRC, governance, risk and compliance, mobile security, very big and huge growing area, 4 and 6, device security and cloud security. So if you see that in the past few weeks, several apps of countries have been banned, and primary reason for that is security and privacy. Okay, so this itself is a fillip to our Indian companies to grow, okay, and to collaborate with other countries and other companies in areas where we feel that they're far ahead and we need that kind of a collaboration. So COVID impact on cybersecurity and the increase in threat vectors. So business continuity during the COVID-19 pandemic, because the work from home now definition is really changed the definition of work, and it has exposed, increased the exposure to cyber threats. So large scale adoption of work from home technologies and heightened activity. The more you spend online, the more risky it is. And activity on customer facing networks has increased the overall threat surface. So while the world is focused on the threats, which are bio threats, okay, but health hazards, but the cyber criminals around the world are capitalizing on this crisis because a lot of people are online. And enterprise spending on cloud security products is predicted to increase to about 636 million in 2020 to 1.63 billion in 2020. So quite a rise. So IT spending on cybersecurity is increasing, and 70% of all breaches originate at endpoints. So in the US, 87% of the enterprises across all sectors witnessed mobile threats, which grew at the fastest rates in 2019. Okay. And there's a 667% increase in spear phishing mail attacks related to COVID-19. So this is good news and bad news. Well, one of the bad news is that India is among the top 3 countries that are most attacked countries. Okay. The good news is that this provides a lot of opportunity for us to secure not only ourselves, but worldwide many other players, many other countries and all. So investment at the right time and in the right places is extremely important. Okay, so it is said that it takes about 9 months for a cyber breach to be detected. So India's National Cybersecurity Policy 23 to build a secure and resilient cyberspace for citizens, businesses, and governments, government research funding. So premier academic institutes under ICIA program, funding cybersecurity through DSTTDV, and cybersecurity initiative to safeguard data privacy, second largest destination for innovation for tech startups, and the talent base itself. See, if you pass these laws, for example, you have the privacy laws passed, you need 1 million professionals overnight. Where are these people going to come from? They cannot manifest overnight. So you need to start building that talent pool. Okay, so you see that NASCOM SSC with NSDC to skill 1 million resources on cybersecurity by 2025. Ease of doing business has gone up in India and 5 places up on the Global Innovation Index. So top 8 of the 15 cybersecurity product companies have their R&D center in India. Okay, and India also houses global SOCs for many of the Gartner and this is very good news for us. Executive summary here: 175 Indian security product companies, 70% incorporated just in the last 10 years. Please understand that it takes a little bit of time, but we have very rich opportunities. For example, before 2008, Israel was not really much in cybersecurity at all. Since then, they had the vision and the drive, and they made it happen. And they're among the global leaders. So we have started now, and we can really make our mark in the world, and especially in this growing and exploding market. So usage of technological prowess, about 1/3 of the companies are offering AI, ML enabled cybersecurity products, and the core technology is being used for the next generation solutions. AI, ML, analytics, quantum cryptography, CASB, threat intelligence, IoT security, encryption, automation, blockchain. Okay, patent conversion, 116 patents filed, 44 granted, several in the process, 40%. Okay, and 20% collaborating with various academic institutes. This is very important because we need to build depth in our game. Okay, we need to be ahead in terms of filing patents, publishing papers, improving our thought leadership, and building products. Okay, 70% product companies are bootstrapped, which is seed and angel stage. As you know, that is very important. The 3 Fs, I hope you know who fund these startups. The 3 Fs are friends, families, and fools who fund these. They have a vision, they have the trust, and so these are bootstrapped. 65% offer both products and services. 45% are pure play cybersecurity product companies. 80% of the founders have 10+ years of experience, which is very good. So many of these I can closely relate to because we are running a cybersecurity incubation center at our COE. here at Hyderabad. I welcome you to visit that at any time. So some of these are, here are some more statistics for those of you who are interested. It only goes to show that we do study our stuff well, really, really well. So that has to improve our game and provide the necessary input at the right time. Startups who are there, they seek access to market, access to capital, access to mentorship, and in this day and age of AI and ML, access to a lot of data as well. Okay, so we would have to apply the right drivers and press on the right levers so as to cause the growth. Okay, enable a lot of growth. So there are enablers, accelerators, catalysts, and of course differentiators, so that we provide enough space for all of these companies to grow. Okay, so there is B2B, B2C, B2G, all of these we can enable. Okay, and we have excellent proof that this is going to work. We've seen brilliant cybersecurity startups out of here. For example, I just want to mention that one of the cybersecurity startups that we mentored here, which is incubated with us, I don't know if you've heard of vSecure app, that won Japan Asia Pacific's RSA conference in Singapore, which was held last year. I was there, and that won the best startup award across. And through our collaborations and all, we've been collaborating with UK and all that. He started his office in UK also. So it shows that we can capture the global markets, and we have the potential to really build world-class products. Okay. So a little bit on the Indian cybersecurity services landscape. Okay. So it had $4.3 billion of cumulative revenue in 2019-20, and 20 to 20%, 22% CAGR, and about 110 and 110,000 employee base. Okay. So sorry, not 110,000. It is 110,000. Yeah, about 110,000 employee base. And cybersecurity key facts are 40 to 50% of the companies surveyed has been mentioned in the leading reports for their services in data privacy and protection. Okay, MSS, cloud, VAPT, IAM, 60% of the companies have been operating for more than 2 decades in the IT industry. So we see an interesting fact here. As per the Startup India report, as per the Startup India policy, just give me a moment. A startup is defined as something that is less than 10 years old and less than 100 crores in revenue. Okay. So we see a good thing also, which is there are some companies which are not startups at all, because they've been around for more than 2 decades or so, who have grown their entire base or their success, their company on the basis of services, because that was the low hanging fruit then. But now they are keen, they are raring to go into the product space. And that's good news, because they don't have to struggle for capital. Their services business can fund the products business. So then you've got to again watch out on a number of things. Please do consult us if you face any problems. We'll be more than happy to advise you in how do you do patenting, how do you prevent conflict with existing customers, and so on, and still build a very good growth story in your products. And we have companies who are doing it, and which areas to attack. So looking at the purely services landscape, you can look at the figures for yourself. Adoption of new technologies for enhancing capabilities. 50% of the companies, more than half, are rightfully incorporating AI ML attributes into services, which is because you never know, because of the level and sophistication, scale and sophistication of threats. If you are hacked at night, 2 o'clock, then it could, before you realize it, that the entire malware could spread throughout the network like wildfire. So you need AI ML to block things out automatically based on behavior-based computation. So you need behavioral biometrics, you need a network. There are things that study the patterns of network traffic, and then they're able to take appropriate action. Okay, and in an intelligent and automated way. So 50 to 55% have been involved in creation of cyber platforms and IP. 10 to 15% companies work with academia for R&D and skill development. Something that I would highly encourage everyone to do, regardless of your experience or stage. Okay, in your career or as far as your company is concerned, no matter which level you are at, you should engage with academia and R&D. Indian services companies, customer segments and offering BFSI, IT, telecom dominate, and threat and vulnerability management, infrastructure and cloud security are key segments in demand. Domestic versus virtual versus global market, geographic reach and expansion. 80% of revenues of cybersecurity services companies is from the global market. And US, UK, Australia are the top 3 geographies of focus. Okay, so this is based on the survey from over 70 companies. Okay, this is the DSCA report. You can please download it from our website. Roadmap ahead for the cybersecurity companies over the next 5 years. What is coming up? Holistic next-gen security service offerings, growing global footprint, and business ecosystem. These are the 3 things that will make India a very attractive hub for cybersecurity services. So there are many augmented service offerings such as blockchain, IoT, cloud computing, along with AI, ML, data analytics, and automation, okay, which will help the next generation cybersecurity services. There is a robust growth. India will exhibit 20%, north of 20%, 20 to 22% over the next 5 years. These are conservative estimates and we could easily beat these. Okay, so it could be non-linear because it's based on projections and a lot of survey done, but it looks like now it's just the barriers are breaking. It's going through the roof. Global expansion, North America, Europe. Okay, favorable geographies for revenue growth, ecosystem, vibrant growth of these 3 pillars of cybersecurity companies, product companies, and services, product companies, and GCCs have created a conducive ecosystem for overall growth in India. GCCs, for those of you who do not know it, Global Capability Centers, they are essentially MNCs who have a footprint in India. They were earlier called Global In-House Centers, then Global Innovation Centers, and now they are called GCCs, Global Capability Centers. Okay, so India is surging towards a $35 billion growth charter. Of course, I hope you will all play a good part in it, vibrant part in it. Cyber defense centers in India, what was earlier called and all, now called cyber defense security centers. These are the companies which are there. And what are they delivering? Security monitoring and auditing, security device management, compliance, incident management and response, threat and vulnerability management, and training. So state-of-art cyber defense centers and response centers servicing global organizations. All of these, and you can read this. Okay, so right from incidents management, malware analysis and forensic analysis, and risk analytics and attack path modeling, to security audit, data collection and distribution, and so on. Okay, and plain old penetration testing and all of these. So the entire gamut of services, basically. Okay, average budget allocated to global cybersecurity centers based on cyber GCCs is increasing rapidly at 18%. And compared to global cybersecurity budget, which stands at 8% CAGR, the slightly dated figures is 2018 figures. Okay, so there are lots of opportunities. There are distinct opportunities to have their global organizations tap into this commercial and competitive talent pool. Okay, and we are doing our bit to get more companies here. After of course, we have a collaboration with Netherlands going on. We've had collaborations with UK, Estonia, Russia, and Canada, Israel, Singapore. So this is the Secure in India report, essentially about the GCCs themselves. The growth of the cybersecurity GCCs outpaces global growth, which is more of them are coming here than going elsewhere in the world. 60%, 60+% retention of cybersecurity now we see, and ease of cybersecurity delivery is one of the top 3 drivers for setting up cybersecurity GCCs. So these are specific answers to specific questions that were asked. Okay, so it's very pointed and very, very accurate. So transforming into innovation hub, 60% cybersecurity products and new services delivery, solutions delivery. That is what these MNCs are involved in their bases in engineering sectors in India. Leadership in India, GCCs are multi-functions centers reporting to global heads. Okay, and at least one GCC leader serves in global committees. And 57% cybersecurity strategic and governance functions in India. Talent pool is at the heart of Cyber GCC success story, as mentioned before. So 90% talent pool availability, 62% employ new age techniques, example hackathons to upskill their cybersecurity teams, adopted planned strategies to combat cyber crisis for their global organizations, 71% competent levels in dealing with advanced threats, adding value to global organizations, collaborations with external parties, prime, and targeted approaches to manage risk. These are evolving practices and regulations that make them more and more attractive. Okay. So India is playing a very big role in the global markets. Okay. So some more facts here. If I have not bored you with enough facts already, 1,250 MNCs have GCCs in India, and of course it grew from 1 million professionals. It grew 33%. Okay. And 90% GCCs spread across several cities. Here are a list. Here's a list, and key drivers. These 4 drivers are enough really to put us on the global map. Talent pool availability, business feasibility, commercial effectiveness, and innovation potential. So when I talk of innovation, because this is the GCC part, but a few comments on the startups. I'll maybe do this after this slide. Okay, 65% of the global captive headcount present in India, and they are scheduled to increase their cyber budget. And 64% are collaborating with startups to enhance cyber strategy and governance, which is extremely good because startups tend to remove the inefficiencies and they bring excellent innovative ideas to the market. So they have a combination of a brief look at the different areas that our cybersecurity product landscape covers. As you can see, there's network security, data security, application security, threat intelligence and analytics, identity and access management, endpoint security, cloud security, forensics, the mobile security, device security, and so on. Okay. Active support from incubators and accelerators and IITs are emerging as key partners. Okay. So we also have a collaboration with IITs here, plus a lot of other academic players here, like Mahindra University, JNTU, with its cluster of 200 colleges. We have helped set up a cybersecurity and cyber law center at Pune University. And you can also please explore options. Please collaborate with the academy. The government is more than willing to help you. Okay. Technology service providers partnering and investing in niche areas of cybersecurity. Whether it is privacy protection or blockchain or cloud computing and blockchain, you can have a look here. That these companies are really at the forefront. Okay. Product security in hardware and software across diverse sectors. So here's a brief overview of what the talent pool is like. There is severe shortfall of resources. Cybersecurity skills will be short by 1.8 million in 2022, 20% increase from 2015. So the worldwide unemployment rate in cybersecurity is negative, probably -4% or something. So this focuses on the shortage or the demand for cybersecurity professionals. 24% of the workforce have non-computer science degrees. They're moving from a different sector. That's very good, actually, because you need across cybersecurity cuts across all horizontals and all verticals. You need people from law, psychology, engineering background, and practically every background, social sciences, and all that. Okay. The biggest gap is in these three areas: operations and security management, incident and threat management, and forensics. Okay, and we can just look at the profile of cybersecurity talent. So there are a lot of slides. I can go on and on, but how are we doing on time? Are we done?
Yes, sir. We are almost
Okay.
done. If you want to wrap up.
So yeah, so government is doing through a number of its programs and schemes. I don't read all of this, but you see this. There are cybersecurity initiatives and frameworks, and of course there are research projects which are there. The government is funding. That's about it. I think I'll conclude here and take any questions.
Thank you very much, sir. So that was very insightful. We didn't know so many things are happening in India as well. So we have a couple of questions. I think we have some time to take those. The first question is from Anand Deshpande. So he's asking if is India planning to bring its own security standard like ISO or NIST?
Okay, so this has many parts really. So there are, as far as regulations are concerned, okay, now there is a privacy bill which is akin to GDPR that will cut across all sectors. Now there are going to be sector specific one. As you know, healthcare sector will have a Disha bill and all that, which is there, which is quite stringent, in fact, because it's one of the most hacked sector. So we'll have sectoral certs also. So as far as industry standards themselves are concerned, we still have ways to go in that. So IT law needs to be refined. First, you need to have the fundamentals, the foundations first. Then you can go in for the things which are above. So NIST and all of these which are there, they are very good standards to go with. ISO 27001, NIST, and all of these. Say 1M to M standards for IoT security, 5G standards are evolving. In that there are security aspects and all. So we can easily imbibe and be part of the many working groups and take these. So first we need to lay very good foundation, which many of the advanced countries also, so-called developed countries also do not have a full-blown the California Act, but across US what is there. Okay. And many of the other countries like China and all, by default, probably they have no privacy. Okay. So India has to make, India is making a lot of advance. We work closely with the NSCS, National Cybersecurity Secretariat is part of NSA. Okay. And you would see a lot of action in them.
Great. Good to know. So the next question comes from Mr. Sudarshan. Is there any benchmark by GOI available for any application to be available for general public use? Or is it only based on diplomatic relationship?
What was that? I didn't understand. Geo?
Yeah, GOI.
Oh.
He means Government of India.
Government of India.
Government of India, what is the question?
Is there any benchmark by Government of India available or for any application to be available for general public use? Or is it only based on diplomatic relationship?
No. So, of course, in the sense it varies. Okay. Now there are certification labs and all, which are their government ones, which will take a call based on various parameters, whether it's hardware security or what to allow in critical areas, critical infrastructure, like let's say telecom equipment and so on, right? And in the other areas, that is the reason why until the laws come out. Now, some of these, let's say, payment apps which are there, without naming any, they are happily siphoning off your data today. Okay. And I know of one app, it will not name. It is siphoning off all your data from your mobile and sending it to 60 different websites, 30, 40 of which are in China, another 20 or 30 in Singapore. Okay. And it does so many times a day, even when your app is not open. And it does it in the middle of the night, probably. And it does it in under 13 seconds. Okay. If this is the case, and you can't do a darn thing about it because your checkbox, put on the tick box, the checkbox that you will allow all partners and affiliates, share the data with all the partners and affiliates. Okay, you checked it, so they cannot do anything. Now with privacy law coming in first. many of these things would be disallowed. Now, a law cannot be brought in a hurry because it would have a lot of implications. Overnight, everybody would be criminals because you all stand in violation. Okay, so whether it is data centers, whether it is mobile apps, okay, these laws will impose. It's not GDPR. When they knew that, yeah, when it was introduced, it took GDPR 30 to 40 years. German lawyers have told me 30 to 40 years to come out. Okay, so of course we are doing much better. And you see that, you know that it's a beast that has teeth. But after this British Airways cases and fines were slapped, then you know that the GDPR is a beast that not only has teeth but also bites. Okay, so in the sense that IT laws, cybersecurity laws, privacy laws, some of the cornerstones, these have to be put in place first, on the basis of which in various sectors they do have their own labs and certification labs and all, but should impose it as a standard and all. And if you were to apply for any of the government defense or projects and all, obviously you will get heavily questioned, and there will be a lot of standards and parameters that you will need to follow. The new ones are coming out now, zero trust architectures and all. And these will undergo significant transformation or changes in light of all these things which have happened, like COVID and all. So at the moment, we are in a hybrid situation. And as new networks, you would say 5G is coming and all that, obviously, there will be measures to prevent that there are rogue devices don't connect to through 5G and you will not get hacked and so on. Yeah.
Sure, sir. There was a lot of statistics that you presented. Mr. Jayachandran wants to know the source of these.
Okay. You can go through our NASCOM reports, DSCI, Data Security Council of India reports. Okay. Go to www.dsci.in and you will find several of these reports. Secure in India report pertains to GCCs, India Product Services Landscape is there. That report is there. Then the new one, latest one, which was released in March or April beginning. That pertains to Indian services landscape, cybersecurity landscape. Okay, these are all taken from those. Then of course there are NASCOM reports, many of them, which talk about the overall IT industry and all that. The FDI statistics and all which I mentioned are universal. You can just go through. I mean, even search for it website online, you'll get many of these stats.
Sure, sir. Thank you. One last question. There are many more, but I would take one more question. Are we working with the Ministry of Education or universities to update our courses to ensure better cybersecurity professionals out of the universities?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I am on the academic board for at least 2 universities here. Okay, both JNTU and Usmania, which are here in our vicinity, plus IIT Hyderabad also strongly consults us. We are running something called Hague Summer School. Hague as in the city of Hague in Netherlands. Okay, we're running something called Hague Summer School. It's a 1-month program in which I invite, if any of your students in the sense MTech, BTech, PhD students in cybersecurity to enroll. So there are a series of courses. Plus there are this entire QPs, qualification packs given by NASCOM. Okay, in which, how many of you know about NASCOM future skills? So I would urge you to explore futureskills.nascom.in, in which it identifies 10 future skills, technical skills, and 10, of course, soft skills. In those, cybersecurity is one of them. So the way in which it is delivered is through QPs. So NASCOM runs the Sector Skills Council for the Government of India. Government of India Ministry of HRD has several areas of sector skills councils, like in agricultural, manufacturing and all. The one for IT, they give it to NASCOM. So NASCOM runs the Sector Skills Council for the Government of India. The way it runs it is through modules called QPs. And those QPs, each one of them are good. And I'd urge you to explore that. Now they are going online so that you can take the tests online. And if you've passed the QP, it shows that you're quite good in that area. Okay. So that's the thing. So, and we are absolutely working with all the colleges and universities. The footprint is pretty large. We constantly upgrade the coursework also. In fact, in JNTU, we have introduced an elective in which that is regardless of the branch, you need to take one in cybersecurity. Okay, at least awareness and all that. Because no matter what, you'll be touching the digital world very often. Whether it is online, virtual one, social media, or cyber physical systems, whatever may be the case. If it is a autonomous car tomorrow, also everything will be heavily governed by cybersecurity. That is the reason why it's very.
Okay, that's very, very informative. We have a couple of more questions. Maybe we can take it offline. I now call upon Mr. Arun Kumar Halur, who's our EC member in ISACA Bangalore chapter, to say a few words thanking Mr. Sriram. Over to you, Arun.
Thanks, Suma. Thank you. By the way, it says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
I'm sharing my screen now.
No, you can try Arun now, please. Okay, 1 second.
Want to? Okay.
Yep. So there I am on the screen. Thank you, Doctor. First of all, big thanks for taking time off for being with us today and giving us this huge insight on cybersecurity landscape in India. This is, kind of the last speaker session, because post this, we only have a panel discussion for the conference. And it has been a very, very apt, session, because with the topic that we had on cybersecurity imminence and the evolving new normal, there were many questions on people's mind as to how is this pandemic and what's this new normal? How is it affecting the cybersecurity professionals? I think you provided a lot of answers for that. And, I also say that it was a very positive talk on the potential opportunities for cybersecurity tools and cybersecurity professionals. A great opportunity for all ISACA members to build their careers, no doubt. So, and then also it was a great insight on how government programs, corporates, and academic institutions are collaborating in the area of cybersecurity. So thanks a lot once again on behalf of ISACA Bangalore chapter for you and for this great presentation.